Hey guys, Harsh here, back with a video. So as you can see, I have another collection video for you guys today, and this time around I have my 1 to 200 scale model by Hogan wings, with one imposter being the Harpa F35 over there. And this was going to be just a Hogan wings video, but I thought why exclude this little guy over here, so I decided to make a single 1 to 200 scale model collection. And as you can see, I have total of 15 aircrafts over here, and I actually tried to put them in different categories, but that didn't work out, so I just put them in a country wise category. So that only turned out to be 3, which is United States, Russia and Europe. So what I'm going to do is just go over them by their country origin, but I will also mention their specific country of service as well, so don't worry about that, and let's get started. So first up, starting with the United States of America, first up we have the Boeing F-15 over here, and this particular version is from the Japan Air Self-Defense Forces. You can see the Japanese Air Force logo, the red dot with white lining on them. It looks very nice, has a very good blue and gray color scheme to it. It doesn't have that much ordnance, however you can see we have 2 drop tanks and 4 air-to-air missiles as compared to the other F-15 that I have, which I will show you next. And one of the major things about it is that how detailed the front intake over here is. As you can see, as you know, in the F-15 the intake can actually move up and down to suck the maximum amount of air whenever the plane is in a weird angle, so that's quite nice. And also you can see the air brake impression is also there, but unfortunately the air brake doesn't pop out, so that's quite disappointing. The nozzles on this one are very detailed as well. You can see how good the silver finish or the metallic finish, whatever you like to call it, is on them, as you can see. So I think I mainly bought this plane because of the color scheme and the these sort of dots that you see over here. These are not actually dots. I have still no idea what these are, so maybe if you guys know, just let me know in the comments below. It does kind of look cool, not gonna lie, but still I need to actually find out what it actually is. You can see the gun port on the side over here has this very nice silver finish, and on the other side we have the fuel port as well for air-to-air refueling, also painted in very bright silver paint. The next aircraft is also an F-15, but this time around it is from the Israeli Air Force in this very nice and cool looking desert camo finish. And one other thing is that at the bottom you can see the amount of missiles and the bombs that it has. So I think it is total of 6 guided bomb, 6 unguided bomb and 2 air-to-air missiles. So all in all, this thing is packed up to the max. Also you can see we get a drop tank over here as well, so it can fly a bit more while carrying those missiles as well. A very nicely detailed plane this one is also. You can see the intake on this one is a bit less detailed than the Japanese one, but still looks very nice. It is basically the same body, just the color scheme and the detailing is changed. And for this particular model only, the canopy was actually detached from the plane. It was given separately for you to paste on in an open canopy design, but I didn't really like that much, so I just glued it shut, sanded it down a bit so that it can have a closed canopy design, as I have on all of my aircraft, as you can see, because I actually don't have a system to display them yet, so I just mostly keep them in their boxes. That's why I didn't go for the open canopy design, and it can gather quite a bit of dust inside the cockpit area. The next one is one of my favorite aircraft of this collection, and that is the Israeli Air Force F-16 over here. This F-16 is quite a bit late version. As you can see, it has this sort of extra bodywork put onto it. If you look at a normal F-16 just like this one over here, you can see how different these sort of bodies are. The mold for the diecast model is actually the same. All they have done is just pasted this piece externally, but if you look at the bottom over here, you can see how this F-16 is. I think this is an interceptor aircraft because of the amount of air-to-air missiles that it has in it. So total of 6 air-to-air and 3 drop tanks, I believe. This one I don't know for sure what it is. It does have a weird shape, but you can see how low it is actually to the ground. In the actual aircraft, how tight that clearance would be, so pilot needs extreme caution while landing this aircraft. You can see on the top it has some very nice panel markings going on as well as the fuel port over here, for which the impression is quite mismatched, but I think it's quite okay. The rest of the plane model actually compensates for it. It also has the same desert camo finish, looks very nice on the plane itself, and the bottom is also painted gray. The other F-16 that I have is just a simple F-16 over here. As you can see, this is actually quite a small aircraft. If I just compare it to a Su-30, you can see how big the Su-30 is compared to the F-16 over here. These are one of the smallest aircrafts out there, and as you can see, this is a bare F-16. There is no sort of missiles, drop tanks or whatnot on it. This could be as well used for training. It has the same fuel port at the top there, you can see, and the panel markings cut out, and has this very nice art Arctic camo finish given to it, which looks very nice as well. Exhaust over here is also quite nicely detailed. You can see like how big the exhaust is compared to the actual body of the plane itself, and has the turbofan inside it also. It does have 2 missiles on either end, as you can see right at the wingtip, and that is about it. Next up we have the F4 Phantom. This is I think operated by US only. You can see like how detailed the underside of the wing is. You can see like individual panel markings. Also these 3 quite nicely detailed drop tanks with red tips on either end. Kind of looks cool, but I think it like sort of destroys the stealthness of this aircraft. But it also has like 8 missiles onto it. All of them I think are air to air. So this one again is like an interceptor aircraft. You can see how the front of the nose cone is detailed with this sort of shark teeth, mouth, whatever you like to call it, and the eyes are also present there, you can see, which looks quite nice. Although I'm not really a fan of this particular design. I think like the military aircraft shouldn't be painted in this way, but still this one looks very nice though. One thing to note there at the back, if you look at it, the exhaust system is actually behind the elevators and the rudders, so they have to like keep this area without the paint in it. You can see both at the top and the bottom the paint is missing. It has a very nice metallic finish given to it. Also the tail, if you see, so this is quite a nice detail to see on our aircraft. And just the overall quality of the plane, I think this is quite nice. You can see on the top as well, the paint schemes and all the stuff is also quite nicely detailed on the top as well. Moving to US Navy again, we have the F-18 over here by Boeing, and again this one is also very nicely detailed. You can see we have total of 4 missiles and 2 drop tanks at the bottom. As this one is from Jolly Rogers, you can see we have the markings of the squadrons all on the plane. You can see that the rudder is actually having a very nice metallic finish, and the entire plane is just simple matte gray finish. So this one really like have a very sporty-ish look, I must say. And you can see how detailed the rudders and the paint quality is on this particular model all the way around. And you can see the landing gears are also quite nicely painted as well, as it is the case for all the Hogan Wings models. It is nice to see that Hogan Wings is quite consistent with their model quality. Next up is quite a different aircraft, one you might not have imagined to be there. That is the MV-22B, I think this one is called. I forgot the full name for this. So this is actually a VTOL aircraft, which is vertical takeoff and landing. This aircraft can perform, and it can also fly straight by turning these propellers to the front at the same time, which is quite nice. And you can see how big these propellers are. You can see it almost like touches the main body of the aircraft, and how low they get to the actual wheelbase over there, as you can see. So every time this aircraft has to land, it has to go in helicopter mode to land, otherwise the propellers will clash with the ground. It is a very nice concept to have on a plane. You can see the logo of the squadron is at the back as well, which is quite nice to see on both the rudders. If you look again, it is a very heavy aircraft as well. It is one of the heaviest aircraft, I think. The whole body is made out of like solid metal all the way around, and these propulsion systems are actually detachable, so you can see how easily it is to detach them and reattach them. They just slides into these tabs over here that you see, just like so. Now another cool thing about this aircraft is that you can see at the bottom we have a hole over here. This one actually comes with a stand, so you can put this on a stand and it has like a flying configuration onto it. So that is a very first time I have seen Hogan Wings providing a stand for a plane model, which is quite nice. Now we have the imposter right over here, which is the Harpa F-35. You can see like how the quality difference is over here. It is a sort of like a stealth aircraft, so that's why there are like no sort of like panel markings and all the pointy stuff that you see normally on an aircraft. So it has to be like in a streamlined manner, but still the quality over here is quite good. You can see all the cutouts for the landing gear and the missile base is all there. If you look at the top, it is also quite clearly marked over there. You can see the grooves cut out for the panels for the engine access, I believe, and all the electronics that goes in. One thing that I actually misunderstood is that this port over here, it actually sort of looks like broken, but it is actually the cannon for the F-35 which goes in there. And at a very first glance I thought it was like a broken piece or something like that, but it is actually not. The markings on the side over here are a bit bigger than Hogan Wings, so they are quite nicely and clearly visible this time around, as you can see. So this is a quite good model, but you can see like how badly the paint is done over here. You can see like some sort of like bubbling going on over here for some particular reason. Don't know why. Maybe we'll need to check that. If it's like corrosion or something, then the aircraft is doomed at this point. The nozzle is okay-ish detail for this particular version. The Hogan wings I think are doing a better job at painting the nozzles than Herpa models, but this one is quite good as well. I couldn't actually find the Hogan wing F-35, so I had to settle for this one, and this one I think is from the Australian Air Force. Next up we have one of the coolest aircraft I think on this model collection, which is the F-117 Nighthawk, and this is an absolutely sick looking model plane. You can see like how pointy the cockpit is, and this one also has the shark fins at the front of the nose cone, you can see, which I really didn't like that much. I would have thought like to paint this area black, but I need to find the matching paint on this aircraft as well, which is quite a tough job to do. But still the model looks very nice though. As it is a stealth model, there isn't much to discuss about the external markings, and by saying that I just accidentally popped out one of the rudders over there, as you can see, so I need to actually paste that in like right now, because if you lose this then it is gone forever. But right now I'm just risking it to show you the details on this one. You can see the engine intake I think is this one over here. You can see the mesh design on both the ends, looks very nice, and then we have all sort of like grooves cut out for the access panel, and at the bottom we have this bay over here, which I am guessing is to store the missiles and bombs, whatever they use. And this thing I actually missed on the review is just a little window over here, which I am guessing houses the surveillance system of the Nighthawk. All the cameras and thermal imaging system, whatever they use, goes in there. And then at the front we have these sort of pointy antennas, which I have absolutely zero idea about how they work, but still these are asymmetrical and adds a very aggressive look to the plane itself. You can see how it looks like a bird if you look at it from the top. This one is also a very heavy model as well. It is fully made out of metal, so naturally it is going to be heavy. The engine exhaust is the strangest one I have seen yet in a Hogan wings model, but I can't actually get my head around how this exhaust works, so I'm just going to leave it up to you guys to decide for yourself. But all in all, this is a very nice model. Now let me just attach this rudder quickly and move on with our review. Next up we have one of the most iconic aircraft in the US history, which is the F-14 naval version. As you can see, it is also loaded up to the brim with missiles over here. This time around I think these are like air-to-air missiles. These 5 missiles, which is one right over here, 2 on either side, and then these 2 are I think laser guided bombs or something like that. And if you move to the top, you can see it is having one of the best detailed exterior I have seen so far in a Hogan wings model. The panel markings and all that stuff. And one other cool feature about this aircraft is the opening wings. So as you can see, they are coupled together and expand just like the real version, which is absolutely incredible to see in a diecast model of this size. But obviously the price is so high, you kind of would expect this sort of functions to happen. This one has quite a few very nice detail all over the aircraft. As you can see, we get the hook over here as well that grabs the cable on the deck. Exhaust over here are okay-ish detail, I must say. Not really the best one I have seen, but still looks very nice. And all in all, the aircraft is quite solid over here. You can see the cockpit over here as well. It is a 2-seater, again without a joystick, but I think we have some sort of avionics going on inside there. So all in all, a very nice model to have. If you are a F-14 fan, you can see it also has the expanded wing, which is the only movable aircraft after the MV-22B over there. That is a propeller aircraft. This is a jet engine. And then the final US aircraft is the EA-6B Prowler, and as you can see, this one over here has the same desert camo that the Israeli Air Force had, and I think this aircraft has the most random type of ordnance that I have seen in any of my fighter models. These two, this one is drop tank, I know for sure, but these 3 I'm not sure what these are. They have this propeller on the end that actually spins around. Not sure what they do, but they kind of look cool on the aircraft itself rather than to have nothing on it. We also get this air-to-air missile, I think, which completes the look of this aircraft. And speaking on the looks, it has a bit of a different camouflage than the Israeli Air Force one, but this one looks quite good as well. Not as good as the Israeli Air Force. Let me just grab it over here to show you. You can see how different their sort of like patterns are, but still I think the Israeli Air Force one looks the best on this particular category. You can see the cockpit, it is a 2-seater again, and this constantly out fuel port for air-to-air refueling. You can see the engine intake over here. It is for some reason painted white on the inside. Not sure why they did that. Could have been nice to see like a black paint, but it is what it is. The back is also quite nicely detailed with the Navy logo and the registration number of the aircraft, and this massive like bulky sort of thing over here, which I'm guessing is like some sort of radar that is inside here, or I may be completely wrong. Just let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And that completes the category for the US aircrafts. Now let's check out our European friends. So first up we have the Mirage 2000. It is in its like standard camouflage design. As you can see, as always with the Mirage 2000, it always carry 2 drop tanks. I haven't actually seen a Mirage fly without these drop tanks on a regular basis. That is because this aircraft is so small, again kind of like the F-16. So if I again compare it to the Su-30 over here, you can see how big of a size difference it is. It almost looks like half the size, but still it is a very nice aircraft. You can see we have the fuel port out there, which is constantly out again, and then the overall quality of this model is also quite good. You can see we get few panel markings. This is not a huge aircraft, so there are quite less panel markings going on, and we get also 2 air-to-air missiles on the bottom as well with the French Air Force logo. On the top it is quite a bit diminished, but at the bottom if you see, they are quite brighter. This is operated by the French Air Force, just so you know. The exhaust system over here has some sort of like golden finish given to it, you can see, rather than the like silver metal finish which is usually on the aircraft. Looks kind of cool. And the turbofan is also inside there. If you look closely, you will be able to see a glimpse of it. The only thing about this aircraft is that it is quite small, but still keeping it true to the scale, it is quite good. Next up we have the Eurofighter Typhoon, and this particular spec that you see over here is operated by the Italian Air Force. And as always, you can see the top has a very nicely detailed grooving cutout for all the panels and all the flaps and the elevators that you see. And I'm saying this elevators because these are technically elevator in this particular aircraft, because as you can see, this is a delta wing aircraft. They don't have like separate elevators onto them. The aileron on the aircraft acts as an elevator as well, so this is how they get around. And as you can see, it also has these canards poking out of the front there, which I think in my opinion they kind of adds a very nice aggressive look to the plane model. At the bottom you can see the panel markings continue to amaze you. You can see at the main body itself we have loads of different panel markings going on. We get 2 air-to-air missile, I think, and then at the back we have the exhaust for the engines. I don't know how, but they were able to fit 2 engines in such a small plane, so that is quite an achievement in its own, so that's quite nice. And also if you look at the rudder over here, it is very nicely painted on both the ends. Don't know the meaning of this paint job or what this symbol is, but still it kind of looks cool. This is actually one of the first aircrafts that I got for my collection, and I'm saying one of the first because I got 2 in the mail at the same time, which was this one and the next aircraft that I'm going to talk about, which is this Su-27 over here in a very nice sort of like a cloudish camo finish, whatever you call it. Looks very good. It is operated by the Vietnamese Air Force, and as you can see over here as well, the panel markings are very nicely detailed on this one. You also get these like sort of boxes over here that like indicate that this area is not to be stepped upon, so that is a very nice way to do it. And if you flip it around, you can see it is also topped up with missiles. All of them are air-to-air, I think. So if I just count them, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, so total of 10 missiles, and we have still room for some more. That is quite an exceptional load, I must say. As it is a bigger aircraft, it is quite easy to have these many missiles on their aircraft. You can see this also has the engine intake warning on both the engines. It is a quite different one from the US versions that we have seen, but still kind of looks cool. Landing gear is also quite nicely detailed. You can see this time around the bay inside is painted the same color as the plane body itself, but the flap for it has a different color for the main landing gear as well, as you can see, and they have this very nice green color on the rims as well. So all in all, a very nicely detailed model. You can see on the top it has also these very nice antenna. One of them actually popped out. I have to glue it on separately, which is quite an easy job to do, but still something to watch out for. The engines on this one, as you can see, they go far back and have this very nice metallic finish. So all in all, a very nice plane to have. Now saving the best for the last, we have this Su-30 over here, which is currently in a debate whether it is a Su-30 MK or Su-30 MKI because of the missing canards. And if you don't know what canards are, it's basically what I talked about earlier in the Eurofighter that you see. So these fins that are at the front are called canards. And if you look at the Su-30 from the current generation, they have these sort of canards onto them, which are called the MKIs. But some companies like advertise this aircraft as an MKI aircraft, which created a debate whether it is an MKI or whether it is not. But that is not the main point. The main point is the flag that it has on it. Now you can probably judge by my accent and by this over here which country it belongs to. So I'm not going to say it now. I'm actually going to say it at the end, so you have some time to think about it. So first up, it has this nuclear sign in it. Not sure why is that. Then it shifts towards this orange color with the cockpit, which is always a 2-seater over here, as you can see. And as it is similar with the Su-27, you can see we have these antennas over here as well. Then like the F-15, we have this air brake cutout out over here. But if you look at the 1:72 scale that I have, it has a very much functioning air brake in that particular version, so that's quite nice. This is only a display aircraft, so there aren't like any sort of like missiles onto it, but you will get only 2 air-to-air missiles, which is quite okay, I guess, considering the color scheme of this particular aircraft. At the bottom here you can see how detailed it is with the panel markings on the front all the way going to the back, and then we have the Air Force logo on either end, also on the top if you see. And the top on this particular aircraft is, I think, as detailed as the Su-27, and by now, if you haven't guessed it, is the Sukhoi Su-30 MK or MKI, whichever it is, by the Indian Air Force. And they painted this aircraft in this scheme for the 50th Independence Day, I believe. You can see the registration mark is also there for this aircraft. The rudders are also quite nicely detailed, and the exhaust system both at the top and the bottom have this very nice silver finish to it as well. So all in all, a very nice model to have if you are a true patriot. And I think that's about it. So there it is, guys, my 1:200 scale collection, mainly by Hogan Wing, apart from the one imposter there, which is the Harpa model. So hopefully I will be able to grow this collection a lot more and have a safe storage for all of them until the discovery of that set storage. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And this time around, I will not say I will catch you all in the next video, because this video will only come out next year. So what I'm going to say is I will catch you all in the next year.